The Bootleg Assault Rifle is a weapon that I've been playing around with a lot recently. It's a fun hybrid between being an assault rifle and being an LMG, having the magazine capacity of an LMG but still keeping the general feel of an assault rifle. When the Bootleg was first released though, it was a pretty bad weapon as it suffered from generally poor stats all across the board, so you had no real reason to pick over an actual LMG or just any other assault rifle in general. However, this all changed in update 210 back in September 2021, where it received a notable buff to its damage and reload speed at the cost of a nerf to its concealment. While the buffs made a lot of people play with it for a while, nobody really stuck with it, which I honestly think is a shame given just how good, and more importantly, fun of a weapon it is. To start off with, the most notable thing about the Bootleg is its magazine size, coming in at a whopping 100 rounds by default. It does suffer a little in terms of its total ammo, being only 200, but that's where the Bootleg's more than generous ammo pickup rate comes in handy. The Bootleg picks up roughly 8 to 15 rounds per ammo pickup, which is more than generous considering its damage. The Bootleg kills light and heavy SWATs in 2 and 4 headshots respectively. While you're not always going to be hitting headshots, or just hitting your shots in general, it's such a generous pickup rate that you'll hardly, if ever, run dry of ammo on it. The rate of fire on the Bootleg isn't really anything too noteworthy, but I still think it's great. It hits a sweet spot of sorts, being fast enough that you can kill cops quickly with it, but being slow enough that it doesn't make the gun hard to handle because of its recoil. The Bootleg's also easily able to hit high accuracy and stability with the correct weapon mods and skills, making the gun handle extremely well. Raw stats alone give the Bootleg a unique place alongside the other assault rifles in the game, but there are some things that give it an edge over just using an LMG. Firstly, you're able to ADS with the Bootleg. It's obvious, I know, but being able to accurately aim with the sight makes your life so much easier when dealing with enemies at range, something that LMGs aren't able to do is you have to deal with the weird Fallout 3-esque zoom. The Bootleg being an assault rifle also just inherently gives it an advantage over LMGs, as assault rifles don't suffer from damage fall-off unlike LMGs. Alongside being able to ADS, this gives the Bootleg quite a big advantage against LMGs when dealing with enemies at range, as you'll be able to more consistently hit shots, with those shots keeping their damage regardless of range. Despite how much I would love it to not have any, the Bootleg does unfortunately have some flaws. Firstly, it's got a pretty horrid concealment stat. If you try to build for concealment with the Bootleg, you'll end up just making out really poor stats while also investing a bunch of skill points just to make it decently concealable. So if you're wanting to use a dodge or a crit setup with the Bootleg, I'd recommend just sticking to duck and cover and unseen strike. The Bootleg also has a pretty long reload. It isn't the worst thing in the world, but when you compare it to the other assault rifles which have faster reloads by default and then also have access to speed pull mags, it just pales in comparison. You're able to work around this though with lock and load ace to increase your reload speed, but it's still a downside as you're having to invest into a skill that you wouldn't have to if you were using a different assault rifle. Overall though, the Bootleg is still an incredibly fun and powerful weapon to use, as it's capable of shredding through any and all cops that get in your way. I've got a build that uses the Bootleg, and as a completely unbiased third party towards it, I think it's incredibly strong. To start off with, we use Anarchist as our perk deck. Anarchist is a great perk deck on its own because of armor gating, but it's also good because of how easy it is to use Berserker with it, which is something I'll touch on later. We use the Bootleg as our primary, for hopefully very obvious reasons. We mod it with the long barrel, the bigger the better suppressor, accuracy boost, compact laser module, rubber grip, speculator sight, and the war-torn stock. You're able to make it more optimized with some mods from the post-White House DLCs, but I'm only using mods from the Legacy Collection DLCs so that anyone can use this build easily. For our secondary, we use the 5.7 AP pistol. We mod it with the tin-treated barrel, jungle ninja suppressor, accuracy boost, Medved R4 laser sight, extended magazine, and the pistol red dot sight. It acts as our shield counter for the build and helps us save skill points as we don't need to get shotgun or aced. And yes, I know suppressors on the 5.7 are a cardinal sin, but trust in the process here. For our skills, we pick up medic bags up to Inspire Basic. Buffing medic bags is just generally good to help restore downs, and bear revives are always great. We then grab 2 jokers. Jokers are always great as extra meat shields, but they're especially good with partners in Crime Ace as it lets us hit 2-shot armor with the suit on Anarchist. Stable Shot Basic to up our stability, Resilience Aced, Die Hard Basic, and Bullseye Aced. Resilience Ace makes flashbangs less annoying, Die Hard Basic lets us tank while we're interacting, and Bullseye Ace helps us build back up to 2-shot armor. Scavenger Basic lets us pick up ammo drops from further away, Hardware Expert Basic lets us repair drills faster, then Steady Grip Aced, Lock and Load Aced, and Surefire Aced. Steady Grip Ace gives us a big buff to our accuracy and stability. Lock and Load Ace then lets us shoot while we're sprinting, as well as giving us a buff to our reload speeds, something desperately needed on the Bootleg. Surefire Ace makes spraying and praying with the Bootleg easier, as it gives us an extra 15 rounds in our magazines, as well as letting our shots pierce through body armor. Duck and Cover Basic buffs our stamina and sprinting. We then grab Second Wind Basic, the Professional Aced, High Value Target Aced, and Unseen Strike Aced. Second Wind Basic just opens up the tree, as the skill doesn't actually activate when you're using Anarchist. The Professional Ace then buffs our accuracy and stability on weapons because they're suppressed, as well as making them have a faster snap to zoom speed. High Value Target Ace then increases our damage against special units, increasing even further when we're more than 10 meters away. This is a really good skill, as it increases our DPS with the Bootleg by an absurd amount, proving especially handy when going up against dozers. Unseen Strike then gives us access to crits in the build. Crits are always incredibly strong, so being able to have access to them regardless of our concealment is extremely powerful. Equilibrium Basic for faster swapping speed between the Bootleg and the 5.7. Lastly, we get Martial Arts Basic, Bloodthirst Basic, and Berserk Erased. Martial Arts Basic then opens up the tree, not being too noteworthy. Bloodthirst lets us build up extra melee damage for each kill we make, which can come in handy if we need to make a quick melee kill. Berserker Ace then increases the damage that we deal with our weapons when we're below half health. This helps increase the already good DPS that we have with the Bootleg even more, as you'll be able to almost double your damage with it, given that you're able to set yourself up properly. With the damage, we're also able to one-shot headshot kill shields with the 5.7, so the suppressor isn't that heinous all things considered. Now, if you want to use 9 lives Ace on this build, drop Unseen Strike Ace down to Basic, get Body Expertise Basic, and then get 9 lives Ace with the leftover points. For the deployable on this build, we go with the Medic Bag. Being able to restore downs is just something always good to have. For our armor, we use the 2-piece suit. It's the best pick for Anarchists, as it has the fastest regeneration speed out of all of the armors. We then use the Molotov as our throwable. Molotovs aren't really used as an actual throwable in this setup, more just so that we can lower our health down with them so we can get the massive buffs from Berserker. And lastly, we use the Katana as our melee. It boasts high damage alongside a fast attack speed, making it devastating alongside the melee buffs we have, especially if we have crits active. It's definitely a fun build, albeit a little glass cannon-y, but that's just the nature of running an Anarchist Berserker setup. The Bootleg is a really fun and strong weapon to play with, so I really do hope people give it the second or third chance it rightfully deserves. It truly is the best of both worlds, and I know that type of stuff when I see it. After all, it's the 6th track on 5150. Even if you're not a fan of assault rifles or MGs, I still recommend trying it out, as it is really fun. I'm curious though, are there any other weapons that you guys think are being slept on? I'd love to know, so drop a comment about it down below if you've got any that you think are underrated. As usual though, I've been Cookie Dough, and have a good one.